Hello, movie nerds, and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, a podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the action series, the new action series starring Arnold Schwarzenegger called Fubar. I think incredibly ballsy move. Can I just start by saying incredibly ballsy move to name your television series Fubar? Because I feel like it is tremendously fitting for this one. I don't know. I think I was expecting, even though I understand that they did a remake of True Lies and that remake was terrible, I sort of was expecting Fubar to be a little bit more along the lines of a television series similar to True Lies, instead of him being undercover and his wife kind of finding out and helping him. I was expecting this to be, obviously he finds out that his daughter is also involved in like undercover police work. So I was sort of expecting this really cool dynamic, sort of similar to True Lies, but with a father-daughter instead of a husband-wife. Not what I got. Now, I will have to say my rating or my review of Fubar is based on the pilot episode alone. I believe the entire series is out. I think that this one was released on Netflix, if I am not mistaken. So you can watch the whole series, but I did not. I only watched the first episode, and that is probably going to be enough for me. I don't know. I might try to go back and watch more of this one if there isn't anything else cool that comes out, and it's been sort of slow lately as far as new movies and television series that I am personally interested in. So I might go back to Fubar and kind of see if I can get past the pilot episode, but so far I am not liking Fubar. So just to give you kind of a brief premise, this is once again starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. He plays an undercover CIA operative, which means that no one in his family obviously knows that that's what he does. He's like his entire family, for instance, would not know that he's in the CIA. He's very much some kind of a similar role to his role in True Lies, where his wife had no idea what he was doing. Now, in Fubar, his career has ended his marriage, and so he is separated, divorced for quite a while from his wife, and has obviously 2 grown children from that marriage. One of them is his daughter, who he ends up discovering is also in the CIA and undercover, and then he has a son as well. I believe the son is the one who has the wife and child, so you get to see sort of some brief time of him with the family because it is the granddaughter's birthday. Now, the thing about Fubar is that the acting is not particularly well done. It seems very sort of corny and just not very well acted. And then one of the things that I deeply dislike about this, which is probably why I will not move past the pilot episode of it, is that when I am thinking of an undercover CIA operative, I tend to think of that a little bit more seriously, even though the television series is called Fubar. So you would imagine that along the course of this series, he probably is going to do the mission that they talk about in the pilot episode, which I will try not to ruin. And then it probably won't go well because obviously he will be interacting with his daughter, who is undercover as well. But the thing that I deeply did not like about this was that it reminded me a lot more of Get Smart, how they have the over the top technology and things that I don't believe. I'm not going to jump down conspiracy theories of what the government may or may not have in terms of weaponry and all yada yada. But they go down the route of this undercover team having these gadgets that are just over the top, and then doing these missions that there were a few times I was like, okay, is he a dirty undercover cop? Like, is that where this is going? Because you kind of get this impression, you know, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's trying to act like this like super nice, you know, guy and whatever. And he makes these jokes about, oh, you know, I did that mission the best I could. I pushed the dad, you know, off a building when the son was out of the room. Like, he just makes these little not funny jokes that I feel like are meant to be funny. But there are a few moments in there where I'm like, maybe he's a dirty cop. Like, he has to be, right? They do this mission that involves breaking into a bank where he uses a flashlight with a laser beam strong enough to cut through concrete and steel. Because, of course, as an undercover CIA operative, every one of them would have laser beams that can cut things, right? Anyway, so he ends up stealing these like uncut diamonds and later gives one to his granddaughter. So essentially these sort of dirty stolen goods that he had to have for this mission, he pocketed one, probably worth a couple of $1 million considering the size of it, pocketed one and gives it to his granddaughter. And then he's talking about how he's retired now and the CIA gave him like a vessel, like a ship that they had taken from another operation. So it's a dirty boat. It's like a drug dealer's boat that they've given him as like a retirement coupon or something. It's like his going away retirement gift is this confiscated like yacht. I'm like, okay, but that's not, I mean, it's just so over the top and kind of corny that it, in my mind, gives the impression that maybe he's not the good guy and maybe the entire series he's not a good cop, but I don't think that's their intention at all. Like, I think it's just meant to be funny and I'm just extremely overthinking it because I'm like, well, if he was a good cop, he wouldn't be taking like he wouldn't be stealing things, you know? Like, I just have a very black or white moral compass, which apparently bleeds into television series where I'm like, well, he can't be a good cop if he's pocketing diamonds, you know, and he's supposed to be a good cop and that is the intention in this show. And I can't get past the fact that he's stealing things. So it just kind of immediately ruins it for me because I'm very particular about, I guess, moral gray areas of what is humorous to me and what isn't. But I was really hoping genuinely after the, you know, like Terminator sort of reboot horribleness that happened, that one did not turn out well. It was a flop for a reason, which hurts me in my heart because, of course, with Arnold coming back and, you know, everything, like I was expecting that to be better than it was. And so I was thinking, well, Fubar sounds like such a great concept. It's something that he has done well before. And so, of course, he can come back and do it well again. And that's just not how I feel about Fubar. Like, it just leaves this, like, it's just, I don't know, it gives me the same vibe, honestly, as the True Lies remake. Like, how corny and sort of poorly acted that one was. Fubar strikes me as the same. So I'm like, I don't even understand. I mean, I guess I understand because obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing Fubar, but I'm like, I don't understand why they wouldn't have just done the crappy True Lies remake, but get Arnold Schwarzenegger to like come back and do the True Lies remake. And of course he wouldn't have because he was doing this one, which is basically the same thing, but starring him. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I mean, I think if you are okay with like corny, like if you really enjoyed Get Smart and you're looking for a television series that I think is going to be kind of similarly lined on that sort of feel, but worse acting and like not as humorous and as much fun. Like if you're looking for the watered down version, I guess, of True Lies or Get Smart, then Fubar is going to be that for you. But for me, just not a win in terms of like television series that I would want to binge in a weekend or something. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Fubar. I would not recommend this one unless you are incredibly bored one weekend and just need something to binge watch. You guys were going to have to let me know what you think of Fubar if you have watched it. Subscribe if you want to join the Movie Nerd family. You can find me on Instagram at Cinematic Sarcastic Podcast, and I hope to see you in the next episode.